Welcome back to my channel. I'm Juliana, and today I want to talk about books that I heard being talked about here and there. Probably you will get the reference from where it came or the various people that talk about these books that I'm going to talk to you about today. But I have 5 books that I intend to read throughout 2025. And they are the first one, All About Love New Visions by Bell Hooks. So this offers radical new ways to think about love by showing its interconnectedness in our private and public lives. In 11 concise chapters, Hooks explains how our everyday notions of what it means to give and receive love often fail us, and how these ideas are established in early childhood. She offers a rethinking of self-love without narcissism that will bring peace and compassion to our personal and professional lives, and asserts the place of love to end struggles between individuals, in communities, and among societies. Moving from the cultural to the intimate, Hooks notes the ties between love and loss and challenge the, the prevailing notion that romantic love is the most important love of all. Visionary and original, Hooks shows how love heals the wounds we bear as individuals and as a nation, for it is the cornerstone of compassion and forgiveness and holds the power to overcome shame. For readers who have found ongoing delight and wisdom in Bell Hooks' life and work, and for those who are just now discovering her, All About Love is essential reading and a brilliant book that will change how we think about love, our culture, and one another. So Bell Hooks is a pen name. She was an American author, theorist, educator, and social critic who was distinguished professor in residence at Berea College. So her name was Gloria Jean Watkins. She was born in 52 and she died in 2021. She was best known for her writings on race, feminism, and class. The focus of Hooks' writing was to explore the intersectionality of race, capitalism, and gender, and what she described as their ability to produce and perpetuate systems of oppression and class domination. She published around 40 books, including works that range from essays, poetry, and children's books. Her work addressed love, race, social class, gender, art, history, sexuality, mass media, and feminism. And a curiosity, her pen name was borrowed from her maternal great-grandmother Belle Blair Hooks. Well, of course, you can find all this information in Wikipedia. So, All About Love is one that is not the only one of this author, of course, that I want to read. There's others like Anti-Woman. The subtitle is Black Woman and Feminism. That is also a title that interests me. But this All About Love, I heard so many people talk about, and it seems somewhat of a different perspective about our perception of what love is or should be, or the different types of love that we can have in our lives, and how, as you have me read the synopsis, like we give so much importance to the romantic love, and that isn't the only type of love, right? So, but our culture, at least in the West, kind of fantasizes about that in movies and books and whatever media. So yeah, I think this book, I'm hoping will bring a refreshed perspective about this subject. So that's why I'm interested in it. Let me know if you have read it and what you think about this subject or this theme or love in general. What is your perspective? And if you have read other books in that same subject. Let's go to the next book. So the next book is Come As You Are by Emily Nagoski. This is an essential exploration of why and how women's sexuality works, based on groundbreaking research and brain science that will radically transform your sex life into one filled with confidence and joy. Researchers have spent the last decade trying to develop a pink pill for women to function like Viagra does for men. So, where is it? Well, for reasons this book makes crystal clear, that pill will never exist. But as a result of the research that's gone into it, scientists in the last few years have learned more about how women's sexuality works than we ever thought possible. And this book explains it all. The first lesson in this essential transformative book by Dr. Emily Nagoski is that every woman has her own unique sexuality, like a fingerprint, and that women vary more than men in our anatomy, our sexual response mechanisms, and the way our bodies respond to the sexual world. So we never need to judge ourselves based on others' experiences, because women vary and that's normal. Second lesson, sex happens in a context, and all the complications of everyday life influence the context surrounding a woman's arousal, desire, and orgasm. Cutting-edge research across multiple disciplines tells us that the most important factor for a woman in creating and sustaining a fulfilling sex life is not what you do in bed or how you do it, but how you feel about it, which means that stress, mood, trust, and body image are not peripheral factors in a woman's sexual well-being. They are essential to it. Once you understand these factors and how to influence them, you can create for yourself better sex and more profound pleasure than you ever thought possible. And Emily Nagoski can prove it. So, what do you think? Isn't this theme interesting? I think there's many people nowadays, well, at least I think so, or appears to be, that are promoting studies or the research regarding women's health. And one woman that I'm remembering right now that is no, it is a public figure, is Maria Shriver. Well, in the reality of the United States, but I guess, or I'm assuming that will influence the whole world. So she's taking actions to promote laws in Congress that promote and encourage scientists to research about women's health. That is a theme that at least a few years ago, I never thought it was kind of an issue. I thought we were going well in that regard. But more and more I figure out that, yeah, the most research that exists in this era are many, yeah, are a lot, but they almost always target men. And as we all know, or men and women are different and have different necessities and different characteristics. So I guess, and I kind of, being not well knowledge about the subject, of course I'm not a doctor, but or a scientist or a researcher, but from the little that I could study in school, yeah, I think it's kind of obvious that it has to be differentiation in research for men and women, as it happens from a race to another race. It's biology, it's nothing discriminatory. It is nature. So I think we have to cater to that nature. And so, Come As You Are, it's a subject that, it's a way for me as a woman to know myself a bit more and have an opportunity to hear someone, in this case a doctor, a person that is of trust, we suppose, but I'm trusting this person, yes, to give me knowledge about myself or the possibilities of myself. So I think that's great. And when I heard first about this book, I was a bit one more about this subject, you know what I mean? But no, when I got to research a bit more and see the synopsis and see people talking about it, this could be very interesting. So I'm excited for it. Another one is Material Girls: Why Reality Matters for Feminism by Kathleen Stock. A clear, concise, easy to read account of the issues between sex, gender, and feminism. An important book. Evening Standard, a call for cool heads at a time of great heat and a vital reminder that revolutions don't always end well. Sunday Times. So Material Girls is a timely and trenchant critique of the influential theory that we all have an inner feeling known as a gender identity, and that this feeling is more socially significant than our biological sex. Professor Kathleen Stock surveys the philosophical ideas that led to this point and closely interrogates each one, from de Beauvoir's statement that one is not born but rather becomes a woman, an assertion she contends has been misinterpreted and repurposed, to Judith Butler's claim that language creates biological reality, rather than describing it. She looks at biological sex in a range of important contexts, including woman-only spaces and resources, healthcare, epidemiology, political organization, and data collection. Material Girls makes a clear, humane, and feminist case for our retaining the ability to discuss reality, and concludes with a positive vision for the future in which trans rights activists and feminists can collaborate to achieve some of their political aims. So this is a theme that also interests me and is very recent, you know what I mean, recent in terms of mass media. But of course, this has been happening since the beginning of time. So, in my opinion. But this one, I think I heard, was not a TED Talk. I think it was, I don't know if it was an Oxford interview or those type of discussions that they provide or they make public on YouTube. One of those, I heard about Kathleen Stock, and then I went and researched for her, discovered this book written by her, and at the time this was maybe 3 years ago. I think it was at the time it came out, right? Here in Goodreads, it says it was first published in May 6th of 2021. And if I'm not mistaken, I heard this author being on the rise. Not on the rise, I mean being talked about and being in a hot spot, shall we say, during that time. And that's the first time when I heard about Material Girls. And I don't know, I think this book will give, hopefully, of course, as any other book, hopefully, it will give a perception of this subject that maybe I'm not seeing, or that I see, and perhaps she will get bases or get an argument well research about to fundament that same argument. So you know what I mean? So yeah, I'm quite curious, very curious about this one, and well, I will report back. Another one is Stolen Focus: Why You Can Pay Attention and How to Think Deeply Again by Johann Hari. In the United States, teenagers can focus on one task for only 65 seconds at a time, and office workers average only 3 minutes. Like so many of us, Johann Hari was finding that constantly switching from device to device and tab to tab was a diminishing and depressing way to live. He tried all sorts of self-help solutions, even abandoning his phone for 3 months, but nothing seemed to work. So Hari went on an epic journey across the world to interview the leading experts on human attention, and he discovered that everything we think we know about this crisis is wrong. We think our inability to focus in a personal failure to exert enough willpower over our devices. The truth is even more disturbing. Our focus has been stolen by powerful external forces that have left us uniquely vulnerable to corporations determined to raid our attention for profit. Harry found that there are 12 deep causes of this crisis, from the decline of mind-wandering to rising pollution, all of which have robbed some of our attention. In Stolen Focus, he introduces readers to Silicon Valley dissidents who learn to hack human attention, and veterinarians who diagnose dogs with ADHD. He explores a favela in Rio de Janeiro where everyone lost their attention in a particularly surreal way, and an office in New Zealand that discovered a remarkable technique to restore workers' productivity. Crucially, Harry learned how we can reclaim our focus as individuals and as a society if we are determined to fight for it. Stolen Focus will transform the debate about attention and finally show us how to get it back. Actually, I want to read it, you know? And well, I don't think I have to explain too much about this one because I think the synopsis summons it. Summons? No, summarize it. Summarize it. I feel a bit like this, particularly about reading. A few years ago, I was very focused when I was reading. And it was the year where, well, of course, it was also we were confined in our homes because of COVID. But, well, I could have, just scrolled my phone or be in the internet all the time, and that wasn't the case. I was reading as a slow pace as I do, of course, and still do. But I was focused. I was determined to conclude the books that I began at some point in time. And today I'm a bit more troubled to do that. So I think this will be quite interesting to see what this author has to say about this in general, of course, but to take something away from it for my case. And the last one is This Is What It Sounds Like by Susan Rogers. This Is What It Sounds Like is a journey into the science and soul of music that reveals the secrets of why your favorite songs move you. But it's also a story of a musical trailblazer who began as a humble audio tech in Los Angeles to become Prince's chief engineer for Purple Rain and then create other number one hits, including Bare Naked Ladies One Week, as one of the most successful female record producers of all time. Now an award-winning professor of cognitive neuroscience, Susan Rogers leads readers to musical self-awareness. She explains that we each possess a unique listener profile based on our brain's natural response to 7 key dimensions of any song. Are you someone who prefers lyrics or melody? Do you like music above the neck, intellectually stimulating, or below the neck, instinctual and rhythmic? Whether your taste is esoteric or mainstream, Rogers guides readers to recognize their musical personality and offers language to describe one's own unique tastes. Like most of us, Rogers is not a musician, but she shows that all of us can be musical simply by being an active, passionate listener. While exploring the science of music and the brain, Rogers also takes us behind the scenes of record making using insiders' ear to illuminate the music of Prince, Frank Sinatra, Kanye West, Lana Del Rey, and many others. She shares records that changed her life, contrasts them into those that appeal to her co-author and students, and encourages you to think about the records that define your own identity. Told in a lively and inclusive style, This Is What It Sounds Like will refresh your playlists, deepen your connection to your favorite artists, and change the way you listen to music. And this was first published in September 2022. Isn't this interesting? You know something? I have to say that when I was a bit younger than I am today, music was everywhere in my life. Not that today is not, but it's kind of different because I think I'm passing through a phase in my life where I'm feeling orphan in a way of, is that the term that I should use? Maybe not. I don't think that the problem is external. I think the problem is internal. So I'm passing through a phase where I kind of hear music, but nothing, or a few times that something touches me, I think that I have to do more deeply research and go back in time because I like more old music. Maybe someday I will talk about it, but nothing. I start hearing a song and then pass to the next one, and the next one pass to the next one, and so on and so forth. And it seems like nothing works for me, nothing excites me, nothing it's worth listening to. You know what I mean? Do you feel the same? Did you pass a phase like that? And if you did, or you are passing through, do you have any tips? How do you research for good music? Of course, good music is subjective, but I like the 80s, I like the 90s as well, but 70s, 80s are my kind of era. I also enjoy classical, and I'm I'm I think I can consider myself an eclectic person in terms of music, but I have my exceptions, of course. I'm not going to say which, but music is a thing that I should talk about. Now I'm thinking about it, I kind of shouldn't I? Yeah. Let me know your taste in music. What are your type of genres that you usually listen to? What you think about this book? I think to discover your kind of, as it said in here, your personality in music, or taste somewhat in music, is kind of fun. So it's intriguing, isn't it? And now, in a random type of conclusion of this video, I'm just going to talk about a book that I'm reading right now. That is Longborn. This is a Portuguese edition. This is by Joe Baker. This was a book that I heard a booktuber talk about. I never heard anything or about this book, or even the author, but this is kind of recreation of Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen, but in the point of view of the servants, the servants. And I'm on page 98. I'm in the middle of a chapter, okay? Don't judge me. But I'm really enjoying it. And this, well, I'm suspect because I enjoy the books of Jane Austen. I love them. Pride and Prejudice is one of my favorites. I think it was the first one that I read from her, and because of the movie with Kate Knightley. So, and I heard that will come out a new movie of Pride and Prejudice, right? I don't know if I'm a fan of it because I have Kate Knightley in my heart, and that movie for me is the best version, of course, because it was in my adolescence when it came out. But, and of course, they have a special place in our hearts, do they not? But I will, if it comes out, I suppose it will. I think I'm not dreaming. I will see it, but I'm kind of, it will not be as good as my favorite one, but we shall see. So, having a version in the same realm of Pride and Prejudice, but in a perspective, you can accompany here bits of the story of Pride and Prejudice, of course, but seeing it by the eyes of the servants is so funny. And Longbourn is the house of the Bennets, so where Jane, Elizabeth, the Bennets. If you know, you know. Yeah, I'm totally a fan of it, at least for now, and I want to end it. And I posted about it in my Instagram, and I have to check in to tell you if I enjoyed it or not, so I will do that, of course. But let me know other books that surround the world of Jane Austen that are retellings or something like that I should read. And yeah, I will end this video. I'm very pleased that you have watched till the end. If you have watched till the end, put an emoji of an old lady, okay? For me to know. That's it for me. I hope you have enjoyed it, and I will see you on the next one. Bye!